Good morning, boys and girls. It's Miss Jess. I was wondering how your Mother's Day was. I hope you guys had a great time with your mommies. I know I had a great time. I went hiking with my family. We went up one of our favorite mountains, Scunnymuck Mountain, but we went up the opposite side of it. So we got to see all different things and explored all different areas. We brought our puppies and they were so happy and so muddy. We had to give them baths when we got home. They were running through the river and they were running through all these different areas, and I found some cool rocks. I figured I'd show you. I brought them outside. I found this cool rock with all these different colors on it. I really liked the colors, some of my favorite colors. I found this piece of wood here, which I thought was pretty neat. It's the part of the tree where the branch comes out, and the branch broke. See, this is where the branch was. And this was the inside of the tree. And I really liked it. And I saw it twice on the trail. So a second time I picked it up. And I found this beautiful piece of quartz. It was stuck in one of the rocks. And I happened to wiggle it and it came out. So I knew it was mine. And then I found this big giant piece. And we collect lots of rocks at our house because we decorate our house with rocks. You can see here, I have 2 stones here. And there's tons of them under there. And we also decorate our gardens with them. Speaking of gardens, there's our garden outside. But we're gonna go to the greenhouse today and check on to see if we have any little sprouts coming. So I'm gonna take the video camera with us and you guys can see if anything grew too, which is great. I'm also been watering. There was a rock. I've been watering the plants we planted together, the tomatoes and the lettuce and the wheat. And it's been sitting in the sun, so it's doing really well. So I wanted to update you guys. And speaking of the garden and things that grow, one of the things that grew in our garden was this big gourd right here. Now, gourds are part of the same family as pumpkins, and it's like, and squash, things that we eat, right? Things that we can eat and that we can grow. Pumpkins we use on Halloween, and we hollow them out and make them into jack-o'-lanterns, but you can also make pumpkin pie out of them and other things. And we can eat the seeds from pumpkins and stuff. So this was a gourd, and this gourd grew in our garden a couple years back, and we kept it out for a long time. It hardened, if you can hear. And I always walked by and I said it looked like a swan. So for Mother's Day, my daughter and my fiance Phil, they decided to sand it down. But you can still see this is exactly what the gourd looks like. They didn't paint the outside, but my daughter painted the front to make it look like a swan. Isn't it beautiful? And they hollowed out the inside. So now it can be actually something that we use like a birdhouse or a bird feeder. And it's gonna be hanging outside in our front porch. And I really love it. I love all different types of birds. And I absolutely love growing things in our garden. So it was a perfect gift. Maybe you guys can tell me some of the things that you guys make for your moms. I bet everything was very special and their days were wonderful. It was a gorgeous 61-degree day. So let's get down to the book. I found some books in Eva's room about seeds and gardens. I don't know how great they're gonna be, but I hope that you enjoy sitting and listening to me read a story to you, and it'll go along with our lesson. I also have some pieces of paper that I also had about parts of the plant. Now, I know we went over these kinds of things, but I figured I'd send them to your families. Maybe you guys can print them out and work on them and talk about the different parts of the plant. See how it says the leaves, seeds, flowers, roots, stem. You guys can cut things out, use the scissors and have some scissor practice. And I had a craft that we would usually do in class, and we would be making our own flower. So maybe we'll do that later on in the week. And I cannot wait to take you to the greenhouse. So let's start with reading this book. Let me find a spot to put everything down. And let's see if I can put this here so you can see me. You can see me. So the first book I have here is called The Little Garden. The Little Garden, and it's by Emily Hughes. It looks like a little garden, but look at that gigantic flower, right? See that big flower? So let's read. It looks like that it was a gardener. I see some plants growing on the first page. All right. I'll move closer with the book so you can see the pictures after I read the words. This was the garden. It didn't look like much. But it meant everything to its gardener. Wow, it's a beautiful garden. It was his home. It was his supper, and it was his joy. How come it was his supper? Do you guys know why? Because most of the things that we grow in a garden, we can eat. We can make salads with them. We can make soups with them. Dinners, breakfast, lunch, we can do lots of things. That's why a lot of people have gardens. So you can grow your own food. So it was his joy, he said. It's something he loved and cherished. Only he wasn't much good at gardening. It wasn't that he didn't work hard. I wonder what his problem is. Let's find out. He worked hard. He worked very hard. Now I'm going to zoom in. Look how, if you look a little bit closer. Do you see him over here? Look at this. Look how big this garden is. And look at him right here. He is working very hard. His problem was he was just too little. But there was one thing that did blossom in his garden. It was a flower. It was alive and it was wonderful. It gave the gardener hope and it made him work even harder. Look at that big, beautiful flower. He worked all morning and he worked all afternoon. He worked all night. My goodness, look how tired he looks in that last picture. Still, the garden was dying. Oh, that's very sad. He looks very sad in that picture. He would have no home and he would have no supper, right? Without the garden, he would have no food in his bowl. What's he gonna do? He would have no joy. One night, feeling tired and sad, he made a wish. No one heard his little voice, but someone saw his flower. It is a beautiful flower. It was alive and it was wonderful. It gave the someone hope. It made the someone want to work harder. So now look how big this person is. You can see, there he is, making a wish in his little house in the garden. And that beautiful flower made this person want to work harder in the garden. I wonder what's going to happen. This looks good. The next day, the gardener was weary and he slept all day. He was probably very tired working so hard. He slept the whole week. He even slept the whole month. Look what happened while he was sleeping. Just look at the garden. What's happening to the garden? It's looking beautiful. And when he finally awoke, it had been just long enough for something to change. Wow, look at the garden now. This garden meant everything to him. I bet he's gonna be happy. This is the garden now, and this is its gardener. The littlest gardener I've ever seen. He doesn't look like much, but he means everything to his garden. He means everything to his garden because he puts in so much effort and so much work to help make sure they have everything they need to grow, right? They need the water. That's why he's working always so hard. He's watering, right? He's providing them love and care. He's planting the seeds. And that means a lot to the plants, right? That's why they're blooming so beautifully. The Little Gardener. What a cute book. The next book I have is Oh Say, Can You Seed? This one's a Dr. Seuss book, and it's all about flowering plants. And it probably is going to be a tongue twister, but I'm going to give it a go. It's very informative. It has all different types of plants and what you do with seeds. So I'm going to try to aim my camera at the book so I don't have to keep flipping it because I know it's a long book. And we'll see how that works. Oh, say, can you seed? I'm the cat in the hat, and I think you need to come take a look at this thing called a seed. From the giant gum tree to this very small weed, every flowering plant started out as a seed. Plants are so useful to me and to you. Can you think of the ways? I will name you a few. The paper for books and the clothes for your pants came from trees and from cotton. That's two kinds of plants. The grains and the fruits and the veggies you eat, why, they come from plants too. And here's something neat. Look at all of those fruits and vegetables. In deserts and woods and rainforests thick, grow plants that can make you feel well when you're sick. Yes, plants serve us well and fill so many needs, and flowering plants all started as seeds. That's super neat. Do you see them? They're out by the deserts or rainforest. This looks like the rainforest, and they're grabbing some different types of plants that actually can help you feel better when you're sick. That's where a lot of our medicine comes from. Very cool, Dr. Seuss. Thanks for telling us. The best way for you to see just what I mean is to take a close look at a seed called a bean. Just what is a seed, you are wondering, maybe? Well, you might say a seed is a tiny plant baby. Oh, they're holding the seeds like little babies. And look, there's the nursery, which that's what they call the greenhouse when they're growing the seeds. Like all seeds, a bean comes in three basic parts. Thing 1 and thing 2, please bring out the charts. Part 1 is the first that I think you should know. It's the part that's the baby. It's called embryo. To sprout, it needs food like you and I do, which brings us to seed part numero 2. It's called cotyledon. Say, isn't that fun? This bean seed has 2, but some others have 1. Last comes the third part that you need to know. It's the coat which protects our cute bean embryo. That's the outside. Like coats when we put on when we go outside, right? To sprout a bean seed, keep it moist, but not wet. Keep it covered with dirt, and then see what you get. See the bean sprout in the ground? Starting to grow, because that little boy is watering it. In 7 or so days comes the part that I love. A root spreads below, and a stem shoots above. See the root? And there's the stem coming from the bean. Even the rabbit's watching. Now, in order to show a grown bean plant to you, we've traveled in time for some months, maybe 2. So it takes a while for the plant to grow this tall. So there's the root system, which grew very big at this point. There's the stem, which grew some of the branches and the leaves. Okay, see, that's where the fruit is going to be growing. And there's the flowers. Thing 2 calls the part above ground the shoot system. Thing 1 calls the part underground the root system. The shoot system, the root system. To get a good look at the roots underground, it is better to make like a mole I have found. So there's the mole right there. Roots are not pretty. They're twisty and hairy, and some roots look even a little bit scary. Roots anchor a plant and help it stand true. Roots suck up the water and minerals too. See the roots under the ground, sucking up the minerals? Hey, those look familiar. Does anybody know what those are? They're a root vegetable. It's a carrot. Good job if you guessed. And roots keep the soil from just washing away. That's pretty important now, wouldn't you say? See the big giant root of the tree? That's why trees stand nice and tall and strong, because they have a very big root system compared to the smaller root systems of grass, right? That's why you can kind of pull the grass out so easily in the weeds. We've talked about roots. We have learned about them. Now it's time we moved on to the stem. The stem is a pipe through which water shoots. It's absorbed from the soil and passed up through the roots. It shoots through the plant, and next, as you'll see, the leaves each turn into a food factory. Right here is the leaves, right? Just like the rhino's protected with horns, the stem of a rose is protected with thorns. See how thing 1 or thing 2 is touching the thorns of a flower? That's how they protect themselves. Leaves come in all shapes and all sizes. I found some small and some spiky, some big and some round. Narrow leaves, tooth-edged leaves, wavy-edged leaves, smooth-edged leaves, lobed edges, broad flat leaves. Very cool, so many different ones. But the thing that all leaves have in common is this: they make their own food by photosynthesis. Can you guys say that? Photosynthesis. I'll say this quite loudly. I don't mean to be rude, but plants are the only living things on Earth that make their own food. Isn't that neat? To do this, plants need waters, minerals, and sun, and that's why the daytimes when food making is done, because they need sun, right? For your information and also for fun, hop into my shrink upper and let's see how it's done. Okay, everybody, let's hop into the shrink upper. I'm going to shrink down and see what's going on. All right. The leaf takes in CO2 through a stoma or pore. It works like a mouth, and that's what it's for. Then the air gets mixed in with the water and sun, and that's how the food-making factory is run. It's a lot of information, but what's really cool is that the leaf takes in, right here, the air and the sun, and then it produces oxygen. I see by my clock that now is the hour to drop in and say hello to a flower. It says plants breathe out a gas that we breathe in. The name of that gas is oxygen. Thank you, plants, for making oxygen that we breathe. Thing 2 has a chart. He will share it with you that shows what the parts of a flower all do. In the pistil, all ovules, they're unfertilized seeds. The stamen holds pollen, which an ovule needs. So it's just showing you all the different parts of the flower. The ovule, there's unfertilized seeds over here, and the stamen, and here's where the pollen is, okay? An unfertilized ovule will not ever grow, and pollen's the stuff that will fix that, you know? A flower's own pollen or another is okay. That's where the bees play a role, by the way. So remember, there's the pollen. That's why you always see little bees coming over here and getting pollen all over their bodies. Let's see what they do when they grab that pollen. To make honey, bees need to get nectar from flowers. They fly and they gather. This sweet stuff takes 4 hours. The pollen sticks onto their bodies and legs. It falls off and sometimes it reaches the eggs. So it reaches those unfertilized eggs inside the flower. Great job, bees. They're helping out the flowers to grow. An ovule that's fertilized becomes a seed. Around it grows fruit, upon which we eat. Look at all the different types of seeds that grow fruit. When we say the word fruit, do you know what that means? It means olives and nuts, grains, plantains, and tangerines, and apples and oranges and pineapples too, all kinds of plant foods that are healthy for you. Some fruits are juicy and messy to munch on. Dry ones like nuts are nice just to crunch on. That is a huge pile of food that can be grown, right? Very neat. Not all plants with seeds give us edible fruit. Some plants have seeds that look weird or look cute. Burr seeds are hitchhikers that ride on your clothes, and dandelion seeds sometimes fly up your nose. Has anybody ever had those types of seeds stuck on you when you're walking through bushes? I know I have. They're a little bit prickly. And here, some of the dandelions is making this little boy sneeze. Some seeds come in pods that explode like a sneeze. Other seeds may have wings and can fly in the breeze. They look like little pods flying in the air. Very fun. But whether they stick or they blow or they fly, seeds bring us life. And now you know why. I see the sun setting and here comes the moon. Your mother is calling. It's dinner time soon. Goodbye, son. I hope you have learned from my little seed talk, and now I will climb up. Where's he going? This giant beanstalk. Wow, look at the beanstalk. He's climbing up, 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 up. See you later. Cat in the Hat. The end. Okay, see you later when we get to the greenhouse.